What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be going over the entirety of my Moze build. I believe it's one of the best Moze builds you can actually accomplish. However, it is a build that requires certain items to work at peak performance. If you use certain items differently, it will not perform the same. So if you want the exact same gameplay type, basically, you're gonna want to match my items. Another thing, starting off, if anybody sees this and they're on Xbox, I'm willing to get you the items you need. I have spares and whatnot. I'm sure you probably know how. I don't want to say it in a video though. I can get you the stuff you need for this, and yeah. So I'm just gonna jump right into the items first. Let's see here. So weapon-wise, honestly, anything works. The thing that's been working best is the casual flacker. It's got critical damage increase after action skill end, which is always useful. There's also a butcher in case you want to not use explosives. However, this build is pretty based off explosives, so it's more so if you just want to use something different, then toss in the butcher. It's a good gun, one of the best, honestly, in my opinion. This I had picked up, I was just experimenting with. This doesn't really matter, honestly. Actually, I think I just had this one on, I think. The fourth one I have is more so for bosses if for some reason I can't reach them with the explosives or the flacker. It's a Lyuda. Pretty awesome. It's a fully automatic sniper. I'll make another video showing how to get that if you don't know. Otherwise, like I said, if you're on Xbox, add me. Same as my YouTube channel. I'll get you these items. The shield I use is this one, reinforced stopgap. High capacity, high recharge rate. You're immune to any damage if your shield breaks for 5 seconds, which works out with the build, and I'll tell you why in a second. Extra capacity. The minus 10% max health doesn't matter. I'll get to that in a second as well. Recurring hex. Best grenade at the moment. This is after patch, so the pipe bombs are no longer viable. And I mean, they're good, but they're just not like end game good. This is the new spiel. Hopefully they don't nerf this one. It essentially splits, starts heat-seeking stuff. It's crazy. So then going to the class mod, Fortified Desperate Bloodletter. So this basically makes it that when you pick up health, instead of actually healing you, it regains your shield. It heals you in shield. So your shield is basically your health. Also increases Torg, projectile speed, and weapon damage, and Atlas crits, which is effective because the recurring hex is an Atlas, and your main weapon of choice for this build is a Torg weapon. And probably the most vital that makes all this make sense is the Snowdrift Deathless. It can be any artifact, honestly, that has Deathless in the title. All artifacts with Deathless in the title knock you down to 1 health and hold you there so you can't heal. But that's where it gets tricky. It grants plus 100% shield capacity, extra recharge rate, way more area of effect damage, your duration of fight for your life is increased, action skill cooldown rate is increased. It's phenomenal. You got bonus damage that's ice. Slide speed's increased with this one in particular. And yeah, so any Deathless works because we're making a Moze build. So Moze deals more damage the less health she has. So this artifact holds you at 1 health. That's the cap damage you can actually have, making you all shield. So with this shield and this class mod, instead of healing, you're going to hold your shield up at max because these grenades are going to be hitting everything on the map at the same time. So the other obvious important thing is the skills. You have 48 points, obviously, for those who are newer, maybe you're not maxed out yet. It takes all 48 points to kind of fully be efficient, and remember, it's 48, not 50. Level 1, you don't have a point. Level 2, you unlock the class mod or class skill itself, so you have 48 points. So I personally, I'm going to break each of these down and how they kind of play into the build as well. The first one I put is Fire in the Skagden. Most weirdest name, honestly, in my opinion. So that basically makes it that whenever you deal splash damage, you deal plus 15% incendiary damage. If you do tweak it, I have to note it takes all 5 points on this perk to actually make it 15%. Where I go from there is the one right under it, all 3. Whenever Moze deals splash damage, there is a chance to add ammo to her currently equipped weapons magazine with a smaller chance to return a grenade. Now, maxed out all 3 once again, plus 10% chance that when you deal splash damage you get ammo back, but there's a 6% chance that you get a grenade back. Now, that might only be 6%, but you're going to see that it is absolutely redonkulous. You literally will never run out of grenades so long as you're landing crits and splash damage together. You'll always be at max grenades. The next one I went for, all splash damage dealt by Moze has a chance to double in size. So I have that maxed out at 5 plus 15% chance to double splash damage radius. Reason I have this is because Moze, in my eyes, is crowd control. She hits all the enemies at the same time, all the time. So having this chance to completely double your explosion size and hit more enemies at once is absolutely useful. It's a must-have. Might not seem useful at first, but when you see it in action, it'll make sense. Next one, I have all 3 points on as well. Moze's grenades have a chance to score a critical hit, dealing greatly increased damage. So this actually grants the ability that your grenades get crits. And I have it maxed, so I have a 30% chance of a critical, and when your grenades spam like the recurring hex does, you'll always get criticals. So the next one right after that, Vampire is what it's called. Whenever Moze damages an enemy with a thrown grenade, for every enemy hit, she restores a portion of her missing health. So every time an enemy is hit, you get plus 20% of your missing health per enemy hit. Now, going back to the class mod, whenever you get health, it turns into armor instead. Well, you have 1 health, you're going to be having crazy armor, and every time that grenade hits somebody, which is going to be all the time, you're going to be getting 20% of your armor back on your shield. So you are always going to have your shield. You'll never die, pretty much. The next one, I have all 3 points in, increases Moze's grenade carrying capacity. That just lets me carry 3 more. Honestly, I might revise the build because the 3 extra grenades don't really mean anything when you already never run out. I might change the build a tad. I kind of have an idea where I would put those points instead, but I'll mention that when I get there. The next one, to the last. Moze gains the ability to throw grenades while in Fight for Your Life. If she threw a grenade before gaining second wind, a grenade is refunded. This is also important because the recurring hex is so broken. If you're spamming grenades while you're down, you'll pretty much always get up unless there's an anointed or something really tough. The last one in the Demolition Woman skill tree. Whenever Moze deals gun damage, there's a chance of a secondary explosion centered on the target. 20% chance, 75% of your gun damage is how much it does. So using the flacker, these are pretty much the same odds. Every other shot with the flacker is going to have an additional explosion on every enemy hit with double the size. So you'll start to see how these perks play off each other, and you'll have insanely huge explosions all the time. So the next skill tree I went crazy on was Shield of Retribution. The first one, Selfless Vengeance. Whenever Moze reloads, she loses a small portion of her health and grants additional incendiary damage to her and her allies' rounds for a few seconds. So plus 15% of bonus gun damage is returned back into even more damage as incendiary, and it lasts for 5 seconds. Good thing about this, once again, you're locked at 1 health. Reloading, it does nothing. Every time you reload, you get a damage boost for free. That's literally what happens. The next one, while Moses' shields are active, she gains damage reduction and increased gun damage. So that's maxed out once again, all 5 points, plus 15% gun damage, plus 13% damage reduction. And once again, you have 1 health. Your shields are either active or you're dead. That's basically how it is. So she just has a permanent damage increase and damage reduction. I only have 2 on this because, once again, the shield's almost infinite, but some things can still one-shot you if it's like a fluke. So, I chose to only put 2 points on this one. Vlad off Ingenuity. Moses' maximum shield is increased, and she gains resistance to shock damage, plus 12% max shield, plus 26% shock damage resistance. It's a useful overall perk. It increases your survivability, so you're not so much of a glass cannon as you are just a total, just cannon, tank, just everything basically. Thin red line, or thin red line. I can read, I promise. All 3 points on that one as well. A portion of Moses' health is reserved and cannot be restored, but her maximum shield is increased by the same amount. Once again, we have 1 health, so all that does is increase our armor or shield by 60% of what my natural max health is. It doesn't affect me one bit, but making me more tanky. This one's actually one of the most important ones. So, Drowning in Brass. It's a kill skill. Killing an enemy grants Mose a stack of Drowning in Brass. For each stack of Drowning in Brass, Mose's fire rate is reduced, but gun damage is increased for both her and her allies. Now, using the Flacker, you'll realize there's a preset fire rate with it. It can't be altered. It will not affect you. So once again, all this will do is grant plus 20% per stack. Its max stats are 3, so that's sorry, brain fart. Plus 60% damage for 15 seconds. Plus, you'll probably keep going with the rate that you're killing. Honestly, the 15 seconds doesn't really matter because with all these different damage boosts, you're going to be killing stuff over and over and over again. You're never going to run out of Drowning in Brass stacks. So that one's really important. The next one, this one only costs 1. You get it and you have it. Whenever Mose scores a critical hit, she deals bonus incendiary damage, plus 10% of the damage dealt is the amount. So you already have buffs on incendiary. We'll hear some more fire. It's perfect. The next one, Desperate Measures. I have 2 out of 3 on this, and I'm pretty sure it's off the class mod. Mose's gun damage is increased depending on how low her health is. The lower her health, the greater the increase. This is where that artifact that holds us at 1 health, this is how it all works around. Every piece of this build works off each other in a perfect way. So that's what makes us get more damage. And if I had to build this any differently, the 3 points or whatever it was that I put on the extra grenades, I would put on this because I'd do even more damage. So if I were to revise this for like maybe True Vault Hunter mode, Mayhem 2 and 3, I'd probably redo it and put those points there. The last one in Shield of Retribution is another kill skill, Phalanx Doctrine. After killing an enemy, Mose gains a stack of Phalanx Doctrine. For every stack of Phalanx Doctrine, Mose's maximum shield and gun damage are increased. Each stack lasts 30 seconds. There is no stack limit. This is one of your most powerful perks because I was running some crazy like Circle of Slaughter stuff. I got up to about 40 stacks. My shield was in the hundreds of thousands. I don't even know what my damage boost would be at that point. But it's plus 8% damage per stack, plus 12% max shields per stack, and it lasts 30 seconds. So for every stack, that's 12%, 12%, 12%. Your armor or shields or whatever will skyrocket along with your damage. So the more you kill, the more you just destroy absolutely everything. And that is all of the points. The mech weapons, they don't matter. The mech is really underpowered, at least as of the time of this video, so it doesn't really matter. The only things I have are the Vanquisher rocket pods with target softening, It decreases the damage of the rocket pods, but it also debuffs the enemies, so they take plus 15% more damage. So it's probably the only way I could really make the mech useful is using it to debuff enemies. I do have the nuke on just for fun, because why not? But yeah, so that's all the items, and that is all the skills and all the skill points used. So now we're gonna put this thing to a test. If he's here, I'm here with Obsolete Giant, my homeboy, and
Yeah, I'm here.
yeah, we're gonna kind of display this thing. I will also kind of go confirm really quick. As you can see with this build, we are on Mayhem 3. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3. Yeah, we'll do a circle of slaughter here. And you'll get to see the build in action. Are you ready, Giant?
I'm ready.
Awesome. Also, there's a little box to include your audio if you haven't, if you want.
I've already clicked it, so yeah.
Oh, perfect. Slaughter shaft. Alright. So, I guess one thing I can do as well is kind of say how I use the build, because there is kind of a awkward way. You might get crap for it, but grenade spamming is really useful because when you spam grenades, your grenades not only do damage, but kind of view them as your lifeline. So long as you have grenades out, they're going to be bouncing and hitting stuff. That determines how long you're invulnerable because of your shield regeneration with all the class mod and all that. So if you send out grenades constantly while shooting, your shield should allow you to regenerate fast enough that you can tank a hit from almost anything. And that's on Mayhem 3.
To really show your build, I'm still gonna run that level 1 weapon, so I won't be doing any damage. I'll just be,
Oh yeah,
sidelining.
yeah. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's the starter pistol right there. Straight up. I've never seen that pistol again, I'm gonna be honest. I thought there was gonna be like a higher level of it, but I just never saw it again. I wish they had one. I like the rockets on it. I think it's cool. Alright, so Mayhem 3, Circle of Slaughter. One thing you can do is pop in your mech. If you have like the god rolls like these weapons, they give you bonus damage after using your action skill. You can use that, and now I have a temporary boost, and I can use those on the enemies. Once again, I usually open with the grenades, which do a lot of the heavy work, to be honest. Whenever something survives the grenades, a single pop shot from the flacker usually will mess stuff up. And as you see, as I'm spamming grenades, my shield is literally not moving even though I'm getting shot. So spamming grenades is very useful to your survival. Oh, a side note as well for honestly any character, I definitely recommend, obviously the flacker's almost a must-have with just how awesome it is for this class and because she's primarily a splash damage character. But something I really recommend with absolutely any character is to try to have at least one weapon in, or well, all 4 weapons in different elements. Because especially on Mayhem when you can have debuffs and whatnot, you never know when maybe you need to switch over to a different element or something. So that's definitely a quick thing that I would pay attention to. Alright, there's wave 1. Once again, I am taking hits, but my shield's not moving. Don't worry about your flacker or your grenades hurting you too. Moze can't be hurt by those. Her own stuff will not hurt her. So there's no need to fret about blasting the grenades or shooting the flacker right next to you. I see, my shield just fills right up. I wasn't spamming grenades as much, but as you see, it's like fighting to stay up there. And right now I'm at 49. Oh, sorry, I just jumped up to 51,000, now 53,000. You'll notice as I kill stuff quickly, and as it starts to get the ball rolling, I'm going to start doing more and more damage, and my shield is going to keep getting higher and higher. So I'm already up to 53,000. Now I'm at 58,000 shield. It's just going to keep on growing. Most beautiful thing about that perk is that there's no limit to the stacks. You'll see at the bottom also you can see the various stacks going underneath your XP bar. I usually try to pay attention to that because based on how many stacks of the phalanx I have or how much shield I have, kind of determines how much I push. As I've learned to kind of judge, like, based on how much extra shield I have from that perk, I kind of get to judge how much damage I get as well. Although that's not an obvious like number that you can visibly see, you start to kind of learn. And once you start to get the stack up, and once you probably break like 70,000 shield, then you can get really aggressive and confident knowing that you're probably going to melt anything that tries to stop you. You do have to be careful though, because as you stop, or maybe there's like a break between your killing, if you lose a stack of it, your damage and shield immediately drop on that point. So you have to watch your stacks and be careful. Especially because once one goes away, they start going, all of them start going away really fast. So you can actually get yourself killed like that if you're not careful. There's round one. You'll notice too my ammo and grenades both are still pretty much at max. I like to just top off the ammo though just because, but I guess another tad disclaimer that I just thought about. If you spam your flacker and grenades at a rapid pace, you're gonna experience frame rate drops, lag. You might start having some HUD issues. It will really start to break your game. I have no idea what it'd be like with like 4 people spamming this grenade and flacker. I feel like it would just fry your Xbox, gonna be honest. I don't think it was meant to do that. Perfect. And of course, I have to clarify, as you see, it is Mayhem 3. No grenades have been lost. Shield's been sustaining pretty much max this entire time. It's like having a non-glitch mode, or a non-glitch version of like God mode, basically, is what it feels like, while still doing the crazy damage. Because I've seen a few other tank builds, but they don't quite have the DPS. But this one pretty much has all of it. So now we're up to 60,000 shield. Alright, so yeah, that's pretty much how the build works. That's how I play with it. If they come in too close because of the flakker's awkward range, where you can't quite shoot that close to you, you know, pop an ice grenade, it'll freeze him, jump back, and then you can hit him with the flakker. A whole bunch of weird things. That's pretty much how I use the build. That's how it works. That's the way all the different perks work with each other, along with the items. Like I said at the beginning, if you want to use this build, I recommend these items in particular, or at least any Deathless Artifact. But for the sake of video time, so it doesn't go on too long, I'm going to end it here. Give it a shot, try it out. If you have a Mo's build, if you think it's better, if you have a different playing style, let me know in the comments. I'm kind of curious to see some other Mo's builds because I know one health builds with Mo's are pretty popular, but I kind of tried to throw my own little twists on it with some different perks than I see usually. So yeah, let me know what you think of it. Let me know your Mo's builds. Drop a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Or if you're not new and just stalk my videos and you don't subscribe but you watch them all anyways, you should just subscribe. It makes your life easier. I'll see you guys in the next video, and thank you guys for watching. Also, major shout out for Obsolete Giant here for being a little legend.